An Obsessive fan has been jailed for a year after sending a string of abusive and disturbing messages to a range of celebrities, including recent Strictly Come Dancing contestant Tom Fletcher. A 30-year-old man named Leo Darcy, but also known as Robert Haywood, was handed a 12-month sentence after pleading guilty to sending malicious communication and harassment. His sentence comes after he waged a campaign of hatred against McFly star Tom and actors Scott Page, Robert Houcken and Cameron Blakely and his ex-wife Bethan, as well as a businessman from Essex. Darcy had sent a string of letters to the performers accusing them of sex crimes and of being pedophiles, while also sending photos of them with young family members and creating abuse posters that he put up in public. In the case of 36-year-old Tom, who shares 3 sons with wife Giovanna, Darcy sent a letter that was initially mistaken for fan mail. But when Tom opened the letter, he found it referred to his 3 children, contained 3 photographs of them, and accused the chart-topping star of being a pedophile. The Manchester Evening News quotes Tom as telling the court it was the most disturbing thing he had ever read and made him feel vulnerable. Scott Page, 31, who has performed on stage and was once a contestant on the Channel 4 reality show The Circle, had received abusive letters from Darcy himself. After initially dismissing a letter, Scott grew concerned when a second letter arrived a day later telling his family should burn in hell, as well as containing toenail clippings. The following day, a poster appeared in a pub containing 2 photos taken from Scott's Instagram page which branded the actor sick and ill and fabricated accusations that he was running an OnlyFans page showing him having sex with older men and encouraging teen boys to engage in sex with older men. Scott then received another letter accusing him and fellow actor Cameron Blakely of being pedophiles. Darcy then approached Scott's mother at the shop she worked in, presented 4 photos of her son to her and asked if she had sent them to him. He then gave a false name of Jacob Jones's before leaving the shop. The reign of abuse led Scott to suffer from sleepless nights and fearing for the safety of his family. Colette Renton, prosecuting, told Minchell Street Crown Court that Cameron and his ex-wife had received abusive letters where it was suggested the actor had raped his own daughter. She explained, the letters were described to go into graphic detail. He then signed the letter as Alex Belfield, the voice of reason. Cameron was aware of a local radio host named Alex Belfield who was known for making hoax calls, but didn't believe the letters came from the radio star. Friends and family of the actor, however, also began to receive abusive letters from Darcy alleging that Cameron was a pedophile and that they needed to take action. While a colleague of Cameron's ex-wife, Bethan, a school teacher, received a letter comparing the former couple to Myra Hindley and Ian Brady and said she had been complicit in sex crimes. Speaking to the court, Ms. Renton said, on September 22, 2020, Bethan Blakely became aware that the school she worked at had received 2 similar letters about her and Mr. Blakely. Bethan Blakely also became aware of 2 nurseries nearby receiving the vile communications of a similar nature. Threats were later made against the life of Cameron as the letters suggested he needed to suffer and that the writer looks forward to killing him and ending his life. While Cameron's twin brother received a letter accusing the actor of being a pedophile and a rapist. While a colleague of Cameron received a poster titled "Come to My Pedophile Party" and containing a family photo of Cameron with his niece. Ms. Renton added to the court, Bethan and Cameron Blakely discussed the person responsible and he recalled that he knew Robert Haywood. He said he had met the defendant at the showing of The Addams Family in Salford. The defendant had attended with his family. The defendant's mother had chased him into the car park after the show and said her son was upset he didn't meet him. The court went on to learn that Cameron and Darcy had followed each other on Twitter, but the actor had to block Darcy after the messages became obsessive. Speaking to the court via video link, Bethan said, "In August last year, my parents received a letter which detailed the graphic abuse of our daughter by the person I trusted most in the world. I thought this person wanted attention, and if they didn't get it they would just disappear and go away. This wasn't the case. This person had an issue with my ex-husband which can only be described as a fascination that bordered on an obsession. In these letters, they accused me of being implicit in the sexual abuse of my daughter and taking part in it myself." She went on to express her fear over the undeniable harm the accusations could have had on her career, and added, "Fortunately nobody believed these wild lies, however to have my parenting brought into question and justify myself was utterly devastating." She added, "I am a single mother trying to make ends meet. I was left in a constant state of anxiety and fear. This state of panic will not leave me unless Robert Haywood is behind bars. That much complete hatred for a number of people who have been affected by him, he will not stop. It has been a nightmare." Fellow actor Robert Hauken received a letter to his own address in London which contained abusive language and death threats, leaving the actor mentally disturbed. Meanwhile, a businessman in Essex became the final recipient of a letter which accused him of being a pedophile and said that he was looking for children to abuse. The Man reports, more letters were sent to the businessman, his colleagues, some of which invited him to a pedophile party, detailed graphic abuse of children and made anti-Semitic comments. And adds that the businessman said in a statement that the letters caused him severe psychological harm and it had financially impacted his business. It is reported that police arrested and interviewed Darcy, where he claims he changed his name from Robert Haywood initially to a French name to be more extravagant, but then to Leo Darcy as that was easier to pronounce. He went on to explain he had become a fan of Cameron Blakely and Scott Page after watching them perform in a stage production of The Addams Family. He claimed he couldn't recall if he had sent either actor letters, as he claims his mental health deteriorated due to lockdown. While a barrister, Matthew Curtis, told the court that Darcy was remorseful, saying, in an interview with a forensic psychologist, Mr. Darcy said to her that he wished he could change the clock back. That regret is for himself, the victim's family and his own family. He said he did not think of the consequences at the time. Sending Darcy to jail, Judge John Potter said, "You conducted what can only be described as a sustained and vicious campaign of hatred towards several individuals and others close to them. Some of them obtained a degree of celebrity, other victims were employed as a teacher and businessman. All of them have been profoundly affected by your behavior. All were wholly innocent victims of your grossly offensive and abusive behavior." Darcy was also handed a restraining order banning him from contacting all of the victims indefinitely.